Welcome to Fireteam Chat live from Gamescom 2018. I'm Destin Legary, your host, joined by CJ Gibson.
What's up? And
today we got to play a new map. We got to see a presentation behind closed doors all about Forsaken. But first, don't forget, this publishes first on IGN.com and then one day later on YouTube. CJ, let's talk about the presentation first. At E3, we got to play through the Forsaken mission where we see the fate of Cade, and this expanded that.
It did. I mean,
pretty neat stuff, right?
Really good, and it's a cinematic trailer. So for the most part, it's one of those things where, oh, look at this, we have a couple guys that we're hoping are going to get into Forsaken when it comes out. Probably not, especially PC Doug. He's just in it for moments, actually. It's basically a cinematic trailer with Cade in it, and honestly, once you get a chance to see Cade put up a fight, I think that was the thing for me as a hunter. You really realize he is outnumbered in this situation, and the amount of times I kept thinking he was going to come back, like, oh, he uses his super, oh gosh, he's down again, oh, he's going to come back, and maybe not, and it was really, really good. There was highs and lows throughout the whole trailer.
So what I latched onto is just seeing the Hunter toolkit on display.
Yes.
It was a CG cinematic, so getting to see Cade actually using everything that every hunter can use.
Yeah.
He tried to pop his golden gun once, and that was interrupted. And instead, he threw his blades instead. You got to see the trip mine in there.
Yep.
He used his knife a lot. That was really cool.
He did.
And, man, he has that one line about his son, about the gun.
Yeah.
Says he's coming home.
Yeah, I remember at the van, and that was that actually like there were emotional moments in there, and it wasn't very long, but it is one of those things because you know Cade's fate, and they're obviously leaning into that. Every moment now you see him experience it at any point, regardless. I think if you're walking into the game or if you're doing a cinematic cutscene leading up to it, your brain is thinking, "Oh, these are my last engagements with Cade," and it's really powerful. It's really well done.
I really enjoyed that aspect of it. Later on, we got to go play the new map, Kell's Grave.
Yes.
And that takes place on the reef, or in the reef area. And we got to fight Fallen, which was nice. So it was Gambit yet again, taking on other opponents. I did not win on PC.
Oh.
It was pretty rough. My teammates, I don't think they played on PC before.
No.
I did okay. I had like 9 kills, I think, on the enemy side, and 58 overall. I'm proud of my stats.
Yeah,
there you go.
You did good. You did good.
You played over on PS4 because you're a controller guy.
So I played on PS4, but I also did get a chance to play on PC with a mouse and keyboard, and I am still terrible with mouse and keyboard. But I will say, just playing it on PC, buttery smooth. And just like looking at the skybox, I actually sat there a couple times and like panned around. You can see the drifters, little machine area, or like the landing area that you're in before you load onto the map. So little details like that in the background are really cool, but super awesome on PC.
Yeah, and this map, it had a lot more platforming sections that you could kind of jump on and utilize if the Primeval has tried to knock you off the ledge, for example. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was really cool. I got a chance to talk a little bit with them about behind the scenes about the reason why they didn't choose to have that map as the first playable map at E3, just from a learning standpoint, a bit more difficult. It's a larger area map. Yeah, there's basically pits. You can be knocked off. It was cool how the portal actually had traversal mechanics that allowed you to get to the other parts of the map quickly. But yeah, there's moments where I think even the amount of primevals and blockers and all that stuff that I spawned, there were moments where I actually was like, oh my gosh, there's too much fire. What's going on? And then they did throw me off the map a bunch of times. So, but really fun.
I had that same issue also. It seems like they've really balanced things out. The weapons are starting to make sense for me now that I've played it a few times at a few different events. And I'm still liking Gambit a lot. I can't wait to get in there with a team, a really good crew, and just wreck other players, or at least have a really good face-off. I like close games, where it's like 1-1 and then the winners decide it.
Yeah, and I did have that when I played on my PlayStation game. We won the first one, and then they came back, and it's like there's a strategy that just worked well, and they beat us the second game, and the third game it was back and forth where we both had our primevals out, so we were invading. When you get to that point in the game mode, it really has the best of what Gambit has to offer on display. So those, I think, like when you get a chance to have teammates that you play with regularly that have different roles, if you're a PvP guy or PvE guy, that I think is going to really allow each person to play specifically how they want to play, and you're going to be able to have a team dynamic. I think will be really fun. So
it was great getting to see everybody from Bungie. Hey everybody, if you end up watching this show. You actually got some one-on-one time. I had to do some production stuff, but you got some one-on-one time with Scott.
Scott Taylor. He was talking a little bit about everything. Just they're 10 days away from the launch. It's coming up. They're all really excited. Obviously, obviously, there's a lot of things that he was discussing that they've implemented, you know, that were maybe not necessarily mistakes, but were learnings. They kind of just said, you know, even scannable items, and I'm going to play the interview after, but the lore stuff, they really felt like they missed out on that. There was the scannables in the game. They're like, you know, people wanted to have these things, you know, archived somewhere where you could actually access it later. So I do feel like there's a lot of things that are like going, hey, we want to make sure that we do this version of it right. And I think that, yeah, I'm excited for what they have to offer based on having the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. One more small thing. Don't forget, Gambit is going to have a 24-hour trial for anybody that wants to check it out on September 1st at 10 a.m. So that goes for 24 hours, and you can check it out for yourself. But now let's just play your interview with Scott.
Cool.
Take it away.
What's up, everybody? It's CJ, along with... So what's your official title again?
My official title?
Yes, the official title. Besides Shake Shack...
I like Shake Shack. My official title is I am right now the project lead of Destiny 2 Forsaken.
Project lead, Destiny 2 Forsaken. All right, roll into that.
I
know you didn't do it on purpose. I know you did.
Well, no, we did do it on purpose.
Well, no,
what are you talking about?
I mean, you guys did, but it wasn't you directly. You. Oh, okay. Let's ask this question right off the bat.
I know who it was. I was in the room.
Oh, okay.
I was fine with it.
I'm gonna start this a little bit differently then.
I was totally okay with it. No, you're already going, so you can do this like a Mark Maron episode where it starts like it just starts and they're like, oh, I guess we're starting.
Let's do it.
Well, Mark, no, I remember very distinctly when we came up with that, and I know who did, but I won't reveal it because I don't want that person to get, you know, flamed or something. He actually asked me to not, and so otherwise I would, because it was a great idea, because it was solving a problem that we had, which is that initial hook.
Right.
And it was one of those things where it was like, well, what if we killed a character? And it, you know, and then it was like, Petra, no, like who cares? And it's not who cares, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not that same resonance.
We love Cade.
Yeah, we love Cade, and so and that opened up a whole like kind of rich vein of story that kind of infused, you know, what kind of bosses we have, what the destination's like. Oh, I guess it's kind of a westerny revenge thing, and like so committing to that really early in the process really helped us tell the whole story. And then now it's like, oh, what would the story be without that like kind of kickoff?
Yeah.
And I have no idea.
Well, I was gonna say we had that conversation on Fireteam chat. I don't know if you saw it.
Which one? I've seen every.
Oh,
I've seen
there
every
we go. I appreciate that.
Well, I listened to that.
So so you don't see us, but Stephen Rue said, you know, I mean, I want to feel something, and I'm not saying I'd want Cade to die, but if Cade
I do remember that. No, so I was listening to that in my car.
Okay.
And I laughed and I rewound it because I was like. Because I knew, obviously.
Yeah.
And was that last spring? That was before we revealed it,
yeah,
right?
That
was like right before.
Yeah, it was like a month before.
Yeah, it was right before. So I do, I do remember that. And I was driving, and because I listened to it on the way home, and I was driving home, and I remember exactly where I was actually when I heard that.
Interesting.
Because it was very funny.
And so what was your take once you heard that? You're like on?
No, I was fine. I mean, my take on that was that was good because it meant that people were going to react. And so the thing that, I think a lot about the fact that we led our kind of discussion about this with a story moment. Like if you think about the history of Destiny and the perception of Destiny, that's like pretty interesting, right? And that the fact that people really responded to that is something that we were excited about. So when you guys were, I can't remember if you guys were speculating about what you thought it would be about or whatever, or what Destiny needed to do, I think was what it was. And so that was very funny to me, just because I knew what we were going to be revealing very soon.
So we didn't influence the whole next DLC.
No,
1 month before. Okay.
No, we did not. We did not start production on the DLC in May. That would have been bad.
But I mean, we're excited, obviously. So now we'll officially start. I'm here with Scott Taylor, project lead, Destiny 2,
Forsaken.
Yes. And we are super excited about the game. You guys have revealed a fair amount. We're only about 10 days away.
Yeah.
Here at Gamescom 2018. We just got done watching a little trailer that is coming out very soon.
Now, I don't know when this is airing.
This is airing Friday, so you're safe. You're safe. We're airing this Friday.
So what do you think?
I mean...
So they've seen it now.
Yeah, I'm a hunter, so for me, it's super emotional. Because it's the same way when we played the Behind Closed Doors at E3, the first mission. You're just now, you know the inevitable. Mm-hmm. You're waiting. And it's the same thing with this trailer. You're like... oh, and then there's those moments where you're like, okay, no, he's gonna, oh no. Like when you...
I will say, you guys had given that feedback and some other people had too, and that is not something, that is something we've heard, but it's an example of something where that was not a part of the design, was to make you go,
Yeah,
I mean, but it's interesting, like that it adds a layer there that we were not anticipating. That's really interesting.
Well, I feel like Cade is the person that you resonate with most in Taken King. Like we said, like, you know, he saved Destiny. You know, he was the guy who came and brought like that storyline and that humor and all that stuff. So to actually see him in this moment of peril, and there's nobody else to see.
But you also get to see him do some really cool stuff that we've never seen before.
He's doing the, you know, little homage to some movies there. I'm sure
he has the moment with his horn.
The moment with the horn, which that was super cool at the very end. He's like, and I was not sure what he was doing for a second there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, of course.
Yeah, that's a nice little moment.
Little touch. But so talk about the moment where you guys decided you're going to actually, you know, stick with this. Which I mean, again, Dee just said, and I asked him on the last show, Cade is dead.
He is. And we were talking before we recorded where you were like, I don't know. And I was like, I do.
I still have hope.
I know. Hopefully you just hope for a great story. And then the world's going to take you to different places that you maybe never expected. And then there'll be new characters that you love. Like, pretty excited to see what you think of the Spider, for instance, is coming in Forsaken. And so there's a bunch of newness that's coming. And a lot of that was born out of, like, hey, what's the best idea we have right now? Let's do that. And we're going to figure out how to make that work really well. So yes, he is dead, but one of the reasons we've been really open about that is that it is going to kick off this whole story that you don't know where it's going to go, and it's going to take you. You're going to learn about Uldren. You're going to go to the Dreaming City. You're going to learn about the Awoken in a way you haven't before. So it opens up all these different things that we don't think we would have been able to earn, you know, for lack of a better word, without doing something like this. And also, you know, Destiny is a living world, and so to not really embrace that and use it would be a shame, I think. And so just the fact that we're having this conversation to me means that I feel really good about the fact that we made this decision, because it's going to usher in new characters that we love and allow, for instance, Petra's like fantastic in this game.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole new kind of layer that we're getting to see.
Well, so now you mentioned new characters. That's something that I think people have been speculating a lot. Who replaces Cade in the tower? There needs to be a new.
You're going to see what happens. You're going to see what happens in the game. I don't want to give you everything.
No, that's fine.
But you know, we did ask ourselves once we committed to having Cade die, like, not just what does that mean for like the logistics of like who gives treasure maps out or whatever, but those things too. You had to solve those problems. But we also thought, well, what does Korra think of this? Like, they've been a team for a long time. They're a fire team. Yeah. Like, if you lose one of your fire team, what does that do to you?
The dynamic's a little bit different.
What does that change? How does Korra react? What's Zavala do? How does that change their relationship? And that was like, oh, that's interesting. And so you're going to learn about all those things. And for the moment, what happens if the hunters don't have a vanguard? Yeah. Like, we're gonna play with that a little bit.
That's cool. So talk to me about some of the things that you're doing in Forsaken now. You mentioned, obviously, collections.
Yeah.
Very big deal. Is there anything that's new that's coming out that you might be able to give, you know, the Fireteam chat fans or the IGN fans a little exclusive, maybe? A little exclusive. Well, one thing, if anyone here has talked to me, they understand how passionate I am about the lore in the game. And one thing that we've talked about a bit, but I just don't think people quite understand, is the lore objects and in the Triumphs page, where you are going to be able to collect short stories, and there's objects in the world. And so that is something that is not only coming to Tangled Shore and Dreaming City, but there's also going to be some items that you're going to be able to find, say, on EDZ. And so all players of Destiny 2 are going to be able to participate in finding these short stories. And there's more of them on the Tangled Shore and the Dreaming City that fill in gaps of different storytelling moments of, like, hey, where was Uldren, you know, between where we last saw him in the meme, and and where he is at the beginning of the game. And so there's a bunch of things like that that I think players are going to be really, really excited about, and we've really committed to. That's something that personally I'm pretty passionate about, and that's a big one for me. I think, and again, if you think back to the launch of Destiny 2, there's a lot of things that we wanted to explore, and they were there for us when we found them. They weren't trackable. Yeah, like the scannables. The scannables. Yep. And so, can you talk a little bit about maybe how you're changing that this time around? So if you remember in Destiny 2, if you got near an object that you could scan, the ghost would have a little alert and a little sound effect. You could go up to it and it would give you a little piece of lore. But as you mentioned, it wasn't something you could go read or track in your UI. I think there's some emblems that track them per destination. So we wanted to build off of that to something that is more about a thematic object that is related to, say, Uldren, and tells a story about that you can go find. And also,
maybe when you kill a boss, it's going to open up and you're going to get a little toast, which is what we call the notifications at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, nice.
Little logo, and you can go and read that in the UI. And so now you are going to be able to track all those things. There's even a title associated with capturing all of them.
Cool.
Players that we think are going to go through and go nuts on that. And titles coming out of the triumphs, coming out of the finding the lore objects, are that's a whole thing that people are going to pursue. That's not just power. So now, one of the things is you don't want it to just be just about the power number. You want it to be other cool pursuits that can differentiate. So if you have a title floating over your head, I'm gonna notice that.
Cool.
You really earned it. Yep,
nice.
absolutely.
Now, things like that in PvP maps maybe as well too, or just mostly?
I don't want to tell you where they are all yet, but there's a fair number of objects all over the place.
Okay, nice. Now, I was wondering also too, we were talking a bit about Gambit and these other game modes that are coming. Trials is getting a rework.
Yeah.
What does that entail, or can you tell me a little bit about why you guys are doing that?
Well, I can tell you that power is going to matter in Trials when it comes back, but that it's taking a hiatus because we want to go in there and do some things with it to rework it. And so for Season 4, it's gonna be off, but it'll be back, and power will matter, and we'll have more to talk about that as we get closer to that.
Well, I'm excited for that to come back as a rework. I mean, it's
you have Gambit in the mean. You're gonna be playing so much Gambit that
I will be playing Gambit. We'll be excited about playing Gambit. So for me, I think
you played the new map, right?
I played the new map.
What'd you think?
Really enjoyed it.
What was your combatant race?
So I think they were Fallen.
Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is this is my second or third time playing Gambit, and I played as a Titan every single time. I keep
what'd you play today?
I played as a Titan again. I'm still gonna play as a Hunter.
Well, I see. So you have this you've probably played Gambit more than anyone because you played at E3, you played at Guardian Con, you played here.
I didn't play Guardian Con. I didn't.
You didn't?
No,
but
and
you
that
watched
was on PC.
it.
I watched it. Yeah.
Okay.
But so I've probably played about 4 or 5 matches.
That's more than most people.
And it is. And we played the one epic match against the Bungie team.
I heard about that. Yeah, I wasn't there
Dylan
for that.
And sorry, Dylan. Dylan sniped me really good, so it's like I have to maybe give him a moment where we challenge each other again sometime.
Perhaps.
But yeah, we're really excited about all these things for Forsaken. Anything else that you want to talk about, maybe that you guys are excited about?
Well, there's a lot,
well,
but I'm not allowed. I'm being
like
leered
10
at.
days.
He just winked at me. I don't know. It's coming so soon. I mean, we've shared a lot. I think one thing I'll say is that you've seen a bunch about Cade's moment, but there's actually more. So that whole sequence is really interesting and does some nonlinear storytelling, and there's more. So you might think you've seen all of it, but there's still a lot more to learn and to experience when the game comes out. I'm trying to decide if we've said when the raid is out by now, but we haven't. He shakes his head.
I don't think so.
He shakes his head.
But if you would like to.
Well, it sounds like I can't. But I was trying to decide when this came out. This is great.
I mean, there's a bunch There's a bunch more, obviously, that we'd like to talk about. But
there is.
We're excited to keep eyes on everything leading up to the release.
I can't wait to listen to the episode when you guys talk through it.
We would be excited to have it on there.
It's gonna be awesome.
Last question. This is probably the hardest question, I think, that I can ask you.
Yeah.
What is your eyeliner strategy?
Oh, you know my Twitter. Do you really want to hear about this?
I want to know the backstory for this pinned tweet that you've had up there for the better part of.
I'll have it forever.
I think, yeah. Okay.
There was in my previous life I did jobs much like you, and I interviewed people. So I worked for no one cares. Why am I doing?
No,
You're not going to use this.
I've seen it, Scott, on your pinned profile.
When I worked at the Supersonics, which is a basketball team that doesn't exist anymore because I'm old.
Oh, that's right. They transition.
Yes. I used to do video stuff, and I did some skits. I wrote skits for the mascot and whatever, and they came up to me and said, "Do you want to interview all the cheerleaders?" And I was 22, and I said yes.
Okay.
I said I would love to interview the cheerleaders, and I'd get to hang out with them or something like that. I was a young. I must have been 22.
Okay.
And so we were interviewing the girls, and I don't know how to talk to pretty girls, and so I went in and I was just trying to. I don't know anything. They were putting on makeup, and I was going in to interview them, and I said, there was a bunch of stupid things I said, but one of the things that I thought was really funny is I said, "What are you doing? You're putting on eyeliner? What's your eyeliner strategy?" And this woman who's just beautiful and like a great dancer just looked at me like.
You said, "Do you have an eyeliner strategy?"
Yeah, and she's like, who is this person? Like, why is he allowed here? What's going on? And
the look she gives you, she's like, No.
No. Well, she's she's used to talking to like men, and then whatever I was.
So you can't have those questions where you get one-word answers.
No, I know.
No,
well, but to be fair, I guess I shouldn't have said, "Do you have it?" Should have said, "What is your?"
Yeah, what is said, "What is your?"
Now I would do, and now as an old man, I would do that.
So,
but yeah, so that's the story behind that.
Now we know.
No one cares. So you're never going to use this.
This is great. This is really good. This is really good. Anyways, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Forsaken. It is coming out September 4th. For all things Destiny related, make sure you keep it locked to IGN, as well as our show Fireteam Chat on youtube.com/fireteamchat. Thank you.
Thanks.
That was so nice of those guys. Thank you so much, Scott, and everybody at the Bungie team and Activision team for making this work. It was a pretty hectic day, but that is excellent. Some in-game lore in-game revitalization of the Grimoire system.
Yes.
Kind of the way we always wanted it, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the thing. There's a lot of things in Destiny that you want to acquire. Very much is a collection game. Even though you want to be able to have all the things in Destiny, sometimes you may not be able to get them, but at least I think what they're leaning into now is, you can find out where these things are. There's lore attached to them, and you can go back and acquire them if you get a chance to. So.
Excellent. Well, hey, thank you, CJ, for joining me on set for a mini Fireteam chat at Gamescom 2018. You want to do the outro?
I mean,
Fran's not here to mess it
Fran?
up. Fran's not here to mess it up.
It's going to appear.
All right. Well, that's it for this episode. Until next time, Guardians out.